All right, so if you haven't been with us for Job, Job had a series of calamities happen, and then he had his friends show up and try to comfort him in silence. They were in what I call the ministry of presence, where you are with someone and your very presence is what you're doing. You're with them. Kids understand this. All you need to have is mom hug you or dad hold you, and the world is good. And so being with people sometimes is all they need, which is a really horrible thing right now with people in hospitals, and COVID restrictions are keeping that from happening. So family can't be with someone, and medically we know that studies show that if there is someone with a patient, they do fantastically better than if they have no one. And so that's a real thing. But then after 7 days, they open their mouth and they start accusing Job and saying, "We know only bad happens to bad people. Good happens to good people. So if bad happened to you, you must be a bad person. You did something wrong. What'd you do, Job?" And so then there's been this back and forth debate about if Job did something, and Job defending himself, and then um, Job ridiculing and attacking his friends in some way, defending himself. I think this would be a fantastic, if you were to make a play out of this. You could do an epic rap battle here with Job and his friends. It's that kind of banter kind of a thing. Okay, so Not Water Cobra says taking off streaming the rest of the week. That's how you feel. You just want to be with mom and dad. Yeah, yep, that happens. That is why I got stream parents for. Ah, real life first. Yep, yep. But yeah, that's all good. Glad you're here. Enjoy time with your family. Absolutely. I think it's important with anything, whether it's streaming, whether it's your phone, whether it's video games, whether for me it's riding my bike. I don't do that to the detriment of my other relationships. Um, so I do those things for myself, and at times for others. But when they become a detriment, when they become an idol that I have to do that and I do that above everything else, that's not a good thing. So, oh, your dad got divorced when you were a baby. My parents were divorced when, I don't know, sixth grade. Yeah, I think I was in sixth grade. So it's not a great thing, but yeah. All right, so let's get into uh, Job. So Eliphaz. Then Eliphaz the Timnite replied, Temanite. Would a wise person answer with empty notions or fill their belly with the hot east wind? He's laying insults here. Would they argue with useless words, with speeches that have no value? But you even undermine pity and hinder devotion to God. Ouch. Ouch. You undermine pity. Oh, your sin prompts your mouth. You adopt the tongue of the crafty. Your mouth condemns you. Not mine. Your lips testify against you. Oh my goodness. He is laying down the boom. Your speaking is a problem. That is, yeah. It's all in you. You like my lurk there? Trying to have some fun. I'm going to get some more odd commands too that nobody else has. But yeah. Okay. So here again, this is fantastic. I'm so enjoying this. This to me can only happen among friends. You can only do this to somebody that you have that tight of relationship with on some level, to insult them so vigorously to their face. I mean, he's just saying, Dude, what are you talking about? The very fact you're defending yourself shows that you haven't got it. Stop talking. You're just digging a hole over here. You're making it worse, Job. Shut up and repent. It's like if you've ever caught somebody in a lie and you start asking them questions that they keep digging the hole deeper and deeper in the lie, and then you've ever seen, and this will happen on movies, probably not in real life, and then all of a sudden they go, they're right behind me, aren't they? That's kind of what they're trying to set up. Job, God's right behind you, buddy. Better shut up now. He's not finished with the insults. Are you the first man ever born? Were you brought forth before the hills? Do you listen in on God's counsel? Oh, remember, we had God's counsel to start this off in chapter 1 and 2. And he's going, now he doesn't know that, and Job doesn't know that, but he's essentially saying, hey, Job, were you at the council meeting? When the Satan, and if you weren't here, the Satan is a title in the beginning of Job. It's not proper English, and it's not proper Hebrew to have the in front of something if it's a definite name. So it's not Satan, it is the Satan, the accuser, the adversary. So it's a position, a title, not a person. So were you there, Job? Were you listening in? You weren't, buddy. These are all understood no answers. Do you listen in on God's counsel? Do you have a monopoly on wisdom? What do you know that we don't know? What insights do you have that we do not have? The gray-haired and the aged are on our side. Men even older than your father. Are God's consolations not enough for you? Words spoken gently to you. We've been speaking nicely to you, Job. Why aren't you just receiving us? Why are you so hostile? Quit getting agitated. Why has your heart carried you away, and why do your eyes flash, so that you vent your rage against God and pour out such words from your mouth? Settle down, Job. If you can't get excited about this, I'm sorry. This is just fun for me. This just dripping sarcasm. This just insults upon insults of we tried to be nice and point out that you were in the wrong, and now you've just defended, so we're going to just insult you. What are mortals that they could be pure? See, you can't even be pure, Job. You can't make that argument because we can't. Or born of a woman that they could be righteous. Job, stop claiming righteousness. You can't be righteous because no one is. If God places no trust in his holy ones, if even the heavens are not pure in his eyes, how much less mortals who are vile and corrupt, who drink up evil like water. Great stuff. Okay. In high school, I was in a room with another student, started bad-mouthing a teacher that was in the room in the corner. I told the student quietly to stop, and he yelled, "I don't care. He's..." Then the teacher stood up and said, "What did you say?" Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, things people can get into stuff with one another. Yep. So he continues here. So he's just ridiculing and berating Job at this point. Listen to me. I'll explain it to you. He's going to go to mansplaining to Job here. I never thought I would use that word in Scripture, but I'm going to put it here. He's mansplaining to Job about sin and Job's sin and God's righteousness and God's punishment. Job, you're not innocent. Let me tell you what I've seen, Job. I'm going to give you an anecdote from my life. There's all wisdom here. What the wise have declared, hiding nothing received from their ancestors, to whom alone the land was given when no foreigners moved among them. I'm going to give you some old school passed down, grandma said, wisdom. All his days, the wicked man suffers torment. Sound like you, Job? The restless man through all the years stores up for him. Terrifying sounds fill his ears when all seems well. Marauders attack him. He despairs and escapes the realm of darkness. He is marked for the sword. He wanders about for food like a vulture. He knows the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and anguish fill him with terror. Troubles overwhelm him like a king poised to attack, because he shakes his fist at God. Vaunts himself against the Almighty, defiantly charging against him with a thick, strong shield. You know this saying, Job, and that's you. You know this ancient wisdom, and you're doing exactly what the person in it does. The dumb person, the person who doesn't understand, and you're doing that. The person who's wicked and tormented shakes her fist at God. And it sounds a whole lot like you, Job. You don't want to be him. Though his face is covered with fat and his waist bulges with flesh. I would look that up, but I'm going to think, regardless of what that might be in Hebrew, I'm not going to gain any understanding. That's got to be an idiom or an expression. If you don't know, the cat's got your tongue, and there's no cat really, and the cat can't have a tongue. That's not what the saying means. So I'm guessing it's something along those lines. That's a cultural thing that even if you understood the literalness of it, it has nothing to do with the literalness. So his face is covered with fat and his waist bulges with flesh. He will inhabit ruined towns and houses where no one lives, houses crumbling to rubble. He will no longer be rich, and his wealth will not endure, nor will his possessions spread over the land. He will not escape the darkness. A flame will wither his shoots. The breath of God's mouth will carry him away. Let him not deceive himself by trusting what is worthless, for he will get nothing in return. Before his time, he will wither, and his branches will not flourish. He will be like a vine stripped of its unripe grapes, like an olive tree shedding its blossoms. For the company of the godless will be barren, and fire will consume the tents of those who love bribes. They conceive trouble and give birth to evil. Their womb fashions deceit. So he's just saying, Job, you sound like an idiot. You sound like an evil person. You are blaming God for reaping the thing you sowed, which was evil and sin, and now you're being punished for it, and you're blaming God and claiming you did nothing wrong. In other words, it would be as if someone is going to jail who keeps claiming that they're innocent, and everyone around them is going, dude, you wouldn't be going to jail if you were innocent. That's not how the system works. You can't go to jail if you're innocent. Nobody who's innocent has ever gone to jail. Now, we can certainly know that that's different, and here we see that all of the calamity that's come upon him is not because of his sin. We see that in the beginning because we get to know that before this whole argument happens. So we get this fullness of the story, and now we get the debate that's happening. So he's still arguing with him and going on and on and on. Yeah. Here's a saying that hopefully transcends culture. If you haven't heard it, with friends like that, who needs enemies? I mean, here's his friends. Boy, you'd be better off with enemies attacking you than your friends attacking you. This is not fun. Not a great thing. However, Job replies, and this will probably be good. Gonna be good stuff here, I'm guessing. Then Job replied. Okay, so if you're ever looking for, I'm just going to put that in here. I think King James would be different. Then Job answered and said, yeah, so if you're ever looking to quote scripture just because you want to be silly, Job 16:1. I want to make Job 16:1 blow up as a great scripture quote. Then Job replied. It doesn't tell you anything. It's kind of like it is what it is. What is like it is? You mean snow is snow? Oh, thanks, buddy. Good insight. Then Job answered and said. That'd be the more literal. Then Job replied. More modern way of saying that. So, okay. On to Job's reply. What is he going to do? I've heard many things like these. You are miserable comforters, all of you. You came here to comfort me, and this is what you do? Do you not understand what comforting is? This is not comforting. You're not comforting. Why are you doing this? So you're miserable. Will your long-winded speeches never end? When are you going to shut up? What ails you that you keep on arguing? You're the worst comforters. What do I have to do to shut you up? What ails you? I love it. What ails you that you keep on arguing? What is your problem? I also can speak like you. If you were in my place, I could make fine speeches against you and shake my head at you. My mouth would encourage you. Comfort with my lips, comfort from my lips would bring you relief. But I could do this, but I would do it the right way. Yet if I speak, my pain is not relieved. And if I refrain, it does not go away. So if I speak, I'm still in sorrow. If I'm silent, my pain doesn't go away. It doesn't matter what I do. If I'm quiet or if I speak, it's not changing my circumstance. Surely, God, you have worn me out. You have devastated my entire household. You have shriveled me up, and it has become a witness. My gauntness rises up and testifies against me. God assails me and tears me in his anger and gnashes his teeth at me. My opponents fasten on me with piercing eyes. People open their mouths to jeer at me. They strike my cheek in scorn and unite together against me. God has turned me over to the ungodly and thrown me into the clutches of the wicked. All as well with me, but he shattered me, he seized me by the neck, and he crushed me. He has made me his target. His archers surround me. Without pity, he pierces my kidneys and spills my gall on the ground. Again and again, he bursts upon me. He rushes at me like a warrior. So again, we have Job giving a emotional description of his circumstance. He is describing the physical nature. I'm not denying that. But he is giving it from an emotional standpoint of what he is experiencing. And I also think the actual pain, he has boils. So that would be the physical piece, is the suffering from the boils. But he also the emotional of the loss of everything that he has. He's just describing this. It feels to him as if God is against him. And he's describing it that way. And he says, I have no other proof other than otherwise, because God is sovereign and in control of all things. So to me, it feels like he is turned against me, and he is doing all of these things. And so he's going, I want to understand and know why, because I cannot find a root cause that says I did this, therefore God has done this. It's I've done nothing. And in fact, if we recall at the beginning, to show us that Job was such a righteous man, whenever his kids got together, on their day to celebrate, he would give sacrifices saying, maybe my kids have sinned in their heart against God, so I'm going to make sacrifices on their behalf to go to God. So he was demonstrating and doing all the things he knew to do to be righteous before God. So he's describing this and saying, dude, take a look at what's happened to me. That's my defense, is what's happened. I have sewn sackcloth over my skin and buried my brow in the dust. My face is red from weeping. Dark shadow rings my eye. Yet my hands have been free of violence, and my prayer is pure. Wow, that is a fantastic description. So here, the sackcloth and ashes, if you don't know, and if I say this all the time, I'm sorry. I do because we come across it and it's foreign to us. The sackcloth and ashes, or here brow in dust. That could have put dust. Sometimes you put dust on your head. You don't always put ashes. You do what you have available. But what it would do would be to demonstrate outwardly what's happening of your anguish and your emotion internally, or the sorrow that you feel, or the grief that you feel. It would be taking your internal emotional state, the feeling in your heart, and expressing it verbally or outwardly, not verbally, outwardly, so that people could see you and know what was going on in your heart. It's one reason why some traditions, ancient, and some cultures still today, a widow would put on black and wear black for a year to demonstrate outwardly the grief and sorrow they were feeling inside. And they'd wear that for a year, not just at a funeral. And so we take from these ancient traditions of sackcloth and ashes, of putting on outwardly an expression of what we inwardly are feeling. It's one reason why if I go to a funeral, I'm wearing black. I want to outwardly express what's going on inwardly. And then he says, look at my face. It is red with weeping. Look. Okay. Look. My face is red with weeping, buddy. Don't you see that? And the dark rings under my eyes. Yet my hands, I've done no violence. I have done nothing to strike out at anybody. And my prayer is pure. I'm continuing to go before God, and everything I'm praying is pure. There is nothing in it that's tainted. There is no sin or anything I've done wrong in my prayers that have gone up. I just want to take time with that. I think that is just a fantastic description of how we can clearly define our expression of what's happening in our lives, go before God in an honest way, and still remain pure. And because Job is asking from a standpoint of, I want to understand, not a standpoint of pointing the finger at God. And I know there's a fine line there, and some think, well, he really is. No, he's defending himself against his friends when he's saying those things. And when he's questioning God, questioning is to inquire, not questioning from the standpoint of, you should have known better, you shouldn't have done this. It's not that kind of questioning. Hope that makes sense. Well, I'm just looking ahead here, and I already see the footnote down there. So, earth, do not cover my blood. May my cry never be laid rest. Okay, there we should get a thought that he is referring to Genesis in the fact that Abel's blood cries out from the ground. That's what God said, that his blood cries out from the ground. And so he's saying, may the blood, earth, make sure my blood's never covered over, so it's never laid rest. So the cry of my blood, my sorrow, never ceases. Even now, my witness is in heaven. My advocate is on high. My intercessor is my friend. Or my friends treat me with scorn. Different connotation there. As my eyes pour out tears to God on behalf of a man, he pleads with God as one pleads for a friend. So he has an intercessor pleading for God. Wow, this is a fantastic thought that we think about in the New Testament. Think it wasn't there in the Old Testament. Job had this understanding that he had an intercessor before God pleading on his behalf. There was someone pleading for him in the divine council that was saying, God, remember, Job is doing the good thing here. He's going to have a person arguing Job's case before God. Only a few years will pass before I take the path of no return. I'm going to die soon. There's only be a few years, and I'm going to perish. Wow. All right. I hope that that was enjoyable for you as it was for me. If you are in a state where you are feeling anguish, anxiety, sorrow, overwhelmed, Job can be a great book, because if you can get into the hope that Job has. Now, we didn't have a bit of hope really so much in this one as we have in other replies that he has had. But we do have the faith. We have faith scattered through here. Maybe not so much hope, but we have Job's faith clearly defined in here. He's holding on to his faith in God. His trust in God is firmly established. We've got that so that we could say, yeah, Job was probably in a worse situation than me, and he's holding on to his faith and trust in God, and he can endure. I know he endured because I know the end of the story, and so I can hold on in my circumstance. It also can help you to just say, I can't express the sorrow that I feel, so I'm going to express Job's sorrow as my sorrow, and it releases that feeling that you might be going through. So I love it for that reason, if for no other reason. And then, of course, this time I've not quite seen this before. I am just loving the banter of it. The tit for tat, the back and forth, the dissing one another, the sarcasm that's coming back and forth. Oh, I've not quite seen that in as I've read through it before. And that's just fun. And I think it's because the way I'm reading through it is the getting one side, getting the other side, and not just reading a chapter at a time. We're getting a couple of chapters and going boom, 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 and that kind of a thing. So, all right. So that's it for today, I would say, but it's actually it for tomorrow, Friday. I should be on doing Isaiah 40, and I might try to get ahead and do Psalm and Matthew. Not sure. I don't know entirely. We'll see what happens. What is Eliphaz? Oh, hey, thanks for asking. Let's go back and look. I don't remember if I looked these up before, but my God is gold. My God is fine. So fine like pure gold. So you might just say my God is fine, refined like pure gold. Or Esau's son, father of Teman, the Temanite, friend of Job. So Eliphaz, my God is gold. Interesting. Yeah, thanks for asking.